Boom, speed test, let's go.
Here we go. 12, 13, 20.
What's up, everybody? In this episode, we're gonna cover the Kingbull Literider. Let's go.
If you've ever seen any of my reviews before, you always know that I start from the front, and on this bike I'm going to do the same. But one thing I want to apprise you of before we get into the review is I am going to tell you the good and the bad, or what I think could be better about this bike. So starting from the front, these are 20 by 4-inch tires. This is a very, very common size in an e-bike of this type. These are CST tires. CST is a well-known brand. One thing you'll notice if you start looking into Chinese e-bike brands is sometimes they will save money somewhere and they'll put money somewhere else in order to make the bike stand out or be different than other bikes. This company went a little bit further on the tires. They put quality tires on this bike. The other thing here is you'll notice these forks. This fork does have a lockout option on the top, and it does work. The other thing about this fork is on this side, it has a preload adjustment on this side of the fork. I have not been able to get this to work. I'm not really sure if this is for looks or what, but I don't think this knob does anything. The ride's the same and the forks act the same regardless of what position you have this knob in. Moving on here towards the middle of the bike, you'll notice this battery. The battery is built into the frame and it comes with a key. It's got a lock built in. You just turn the lock and then you pull the battery out. Battery comes out just like that, super simple and easy. You can charge the battery outside of the bike. You can take it into your house or your garage if you don't want to take the bike up a flight of stairs or in an elevator, if you live in a apartment complex or something like that. So super easy, just turn the key, slide it out, done. Now this bike does have a feature that you won't find on a lot of other bikes. This is a specific type or style of bike. This is a step through bike, so there's no bar here, right? It's easy for you to step through, it's easy to get on, it's easy to get off. The other thing here I want to mention is how this bike folds up. So it's got a lever here. You just slide this lever forward, pull it back, and it's on a hinge. You'll see the hinge, I'll put it in here right here. And that bike just hinges and folds in half. Also too, with that, it can reduce in size by the handlebar. It has a similar mechanism up here on the handlebar, so you can fold this bike up so that it has a smaller footprint if you need to fit it somewhere where the space might be tight. And the other thing is, you'll notice it has this. You might be wondering, well, what the heck is that? This right here is once the bike is folded up, you can use this as a handle and you can pick the bike up and carry it, kind of like a suitcase. Something else that's pretty cool is not only is the bike foldable in the frame and the handlebars, the pedals themselves are also foldable, so it'll just narrow the bike's profile down even more. One more thing you'll notice back here, guys, is the Shimano shifter. It's a 7-speed. It's a pretty common par for the course mechanism on a bike like this in this price range. And for what it is, it works great. To be honest with you, I don't even shift gears because I don't pedal this bike much. I didn't buy this bike to pedal. I use the throttle most of the time. But if I had to pedal this bike, I do have a gearing system that'll allow me a little bit easier pedal if I need it. Kingbull did decide to do is put a rack on this bike, which is a great feature. This bike is made for commuting, it's made for cruising. You want to carry your stuff, put a basket on here, put a cooler on here, put a milk crate on here, whatever, carry your things. A rack typically, if you were to buy this as a separate accessory, it's about $80 to $100. So for them to throw the rack on here, that's bueno. As we flip the bike around, you will notice the brakes on this side. They did not skimp on the brakes. A lot of times bikes in this price point will come with a cable brake. They put hydraulic brakes on here and they stop you. That's what brakes do. And that's what I expect. And they do a good job. Coming up here to the dash, you'll see the display. You turn it on here by this button, hold that sucker down, the dash shows up. I know on your end it looks kind of blanky and it's blinking, but the dash is very, very well lit. It's simple and it's basic, but it gives you all the information you want and it's legible. Even in the sun, you can still read it just fine. Over here, you have your light controls and you have your horn. You have your up and down modes. So it has 5 modes of pedal assist, going up to 5, and then all the way back down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The brakes here, these are the hydraulic brakes. The levers are plastic. Sometimes you'll see an aluminum lever come on these bikes. This one happens to have a plastic lever. And moving over here, we have the 7-speed Shimano gear shifter. Like I said earlier, a pretty standard piece of equipment on a bike in this price range. This is a half twist throttle, so only half the throttle twists, just so you know. Sometimes we'll have a bike that comes with a full twist throttle. This is just a halvesy. Guys, so that's a high-level overview of the bike, the positives and the negatives. We went over the bars. You saw me put it together. Next, we're going to get it on the street and get some final thoughts. But one more thing I want to tell you about that I told you I was going to say is the things that I think could be better on this bike. On the right side of the bike, my powder coat came in a little scuffed up. That is probably not Kingbull's fault. That probably happened in shipping. But maybe there's an opportunity there for Kingbull to take a higher priority in packaging of the bike. I didn't see any damage in the box when I unloaded it, so I'm not sure about that. But anyway, it's worth mentioning. Another thing worth mentioning that I think could be better or changed is the length of this cable. Now, they did a good job with the wire tighty here to keep it nice and tight. The one thing here that kind of bothers me is the extra length on these wires. Look how long that brake line is. And look how much length there is here. That might be just to accommodate the bars once they're folded down, but I still think there's a significant of length that they could reduce to make this more streamlined. Because the problem is, if you're riding along, you could catch a handrail or a stick on these cables, and that'll just gonna throw these bars off to the side, and then you know what happens next. You're on the ground. So if you could shorten these up, tidy these up a little bit, that'd be good too. Let's go take it for a ride and let's get some final thoughts. 25, 26, 26.6. Got a bit of an uphill here. Let's get to the top of this hill. 27, 27.2, 27 miles an hour. That's about to be expected. A couple things about this bike that when you ride it, you notice is the adjustability in the handlebars. That's kind of a nice feature, honestly. This bike can accommodate a large amount of different body sizes. So your shorter people, your taller people, there's height adjustment in the seat. You can adjust the handlebars. So if a husband and wife wants to ride the same bike, it's almost like having 2 settings on your car when you can move the seat and the steering wheel, right? Specific to that person. That's kind of how this bike is. You can adjust it to fit a lot of different body sizes. One thing, and this is not specific to this e-bike, but it is kind of an issue that I have with e-bikes. I wish that the controller was a little bit more tame. And what I mean by that is I wish that when you hit the throttle, it wasn't so jerky, or when you go to pedal the bike or you put the motion into the pedals, I wish that the bike wasn't so jerky. It's just a cadence sensor in there that recognizes motion and then it goes forward. But the forward motion it's kind of jerky, and sometimes I feel like if you're not ready for it, it'll throw you off the back of the bike. And one more thing before I exit the video out, y'all, the Kingbull website, they have a ton of other bikes. If the step-through bike like this or the folding bike is not your style, be sure to check out the Kingbull website for the other offerings that they have. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you for watching. Later.